Hey guys, Joe here, and welcome back for another episode. Today we're going to be talking about Town Hall 7, and really who actually remembers when there was only 2 air defenses on a Town Hall 7. I definitely do. That's why this one up here in the north of the map is actually still upgrading. This is actually Little Joe, and this is actually one of my other accounts, and from the looks of it, it's basically a max Town Hall 7 minus a couple of components. Not really that big of a deal. But what I really want to talk to you about is how to 3-star any Town Hall 7 in your own war attacks. And dragons are the way to go. I don't think that anybody's going to really disagree with me on this in the sense of, you can learn funneling and other techniques and patience when it comes to just dragons, just because of how they don't really target a specific structure. They will target anything. So really they're a little dumbfounded sometimes on the map. However, really, before we get into the attack strategy, I have 2 different attacks that I'm going to show you today, 2 different spell compositions. But at the end of the day, really all we got to worry about here is making sure that you have 10 dragons. That's all you really need here is 10 dragons. You don't need anything else in the camps. And while I'm on the topic of the camps, when it comes to starting out and actually upgrading from Town Hall 6 to Town Hall 7, in order to get this strategy going and start helping your clans down at the bottom of the map, you need to unlock that 4th barracks or build it after you've upgraded to Town Hall 7. And then you also need to make sure that all 4 of your army camps are level 6. You're also able to upgrade your spell factory to level 3, which unlocks 2 more spell housing spaces, as well as the rage spell. And the rage spell is actually a great thing to have when it comes to dragons, but also the lightning spell as well. You want to ensure that you upgrade your laboratory and ensure that you have level 4 lightning spells unlocked. And this also gives you the ability to actually upgrade your dragons as well to level 2 once you unlock them, once you upgrade your barracks to level 9. And this is probably the most timely upgrade on the Town Hall 7 on the offensive side, is upgrading these barracks to level 9. It takes, I believe, 5 days and 1.5 million elixirs. So really, if you think about it, all of your upgrades from the beginning, once you go from Town Hall 6 to Town Hall 7, in order to get this strategy going and working on your ability to drop 3 stars on opponents your equal level or lower on your war maps, then you definitely need to get the dragons unlocked and get those barracks all up to the same level. That way it doesn't take you hours to cook 10 dragons. It only takes you about 45 minutes to an hour, and you'll be able to do it with all 4. But it takes a couple of days and a little bit of patience. So I believe I've covered everything there. Let's go ahead and start working into these attacks. So as we start with this first attack, most of you probably look at this base and you're just like, come on, man. Really, it's fundamentals. I chose this one for fundamentals just because of the spacing on the base and everything's all laid out all wide for a reason. Silly little defender here, actually. But really, when scouting these bases, there's a couple of things that we're going to look for when we're using dragons. And we're looking for the air defenses right here. And then we're looking for the splash damage, even though these are pretty weak right here in the wizard towers. And then also a good habit to get into is looking for the air sweeper. And there's only 1 for Town Hall 7 anyway, so it's not really that big of a deal as a Town Hall 7. But really, if you learn how to combat these defenses early, then you can learn how to do it as you start transitioning into Town Hall 8. So I believe that's pretty much the only things you have to worry about, minus the clan castle troops, which most of the time at this Town Hall level is normally a dragon anyways, and most people are pretty much onto that. But really what the intent of this base right here is to actually hope that you are a foolish attacker and you just dump all your dragons in one spot. And back when it was only 2 air defenses on a Town Hall 7, you could do that and get away with it. But since the addition of the 3rd air defense, you can't really pull that one off as much. Well, with these weaker ones here, you probably could. However, with the level 5s that are maxed out for Town Hall 7, the air defenses will hinder you, and the intent here is for your dragons to actually circle around the base for the air defenses to pick off your dragons as they go around. And that's really the intent of most of these lower Town Hall level bases, is to combat dragons. However, if you learn how to place, say, a dragon up here in the north by this gold mine, and then another one down here in the south by this other gold mine, you can start opening up the funnel. And what you'll do here is you just drop one dragon up north and one dragon down south, and then they'll start working on these structures in the immediate area, and then start doing that circular motion like the defender wants you to do. But what they don't realize is by doing this is that you leave all these structures here for all your dragons, the rest of your dragons, to start working on, and then start funneling directly into the core of this base, which there isn't really much of a core here. However, this large compartment that has all the major structures in it, you'll send your dragons directly into it. So as the replay begins, as I said before, I drop one up north, and then I drop one down in the south, and then a couple in the between to start working on the structures. But really what I want these 4 dragons to do, mainly the 2 in the south and the 1 in the north, is to actually start working on these structures on the outer ring. And basically, you see how as I'm pretty patient here to let them start clearing this funnel, and what they've done is they've opened up a wide spot for nothing else but the dragons to start going directly into the core of the base and start trickling in. Now this brings me back to the clan castle. Having 20 housing space as a level 3, you'll be able to carry 4 high-level balloons, and if you can get them into your clan castle, they get those level 6s or max level 7s, and they target the defensive structures. So the best part about these is if you use a rage spell and you send your balloons directly into a rage, then they'll start moving in on those air defenses. And this is probably a pretty bad example of what I'm trying to talk to you about right now, and I have another replay that I'll show you probably near the end of the video of how another attacker actually uses the balloons and the rage spell to shoot the balloons up the gut directly on to the air defenses to protect those dragons as they're still fumbling around with needless, mindless structures like the elixir storages and the gold mines and such. So as this one wraps up, it was pretty simple, and we're just going to chalk it up and move on to the next one. So as we move into this next raid by Mark, you'll notice that he actually has 3 level 4 lightning spells, and what he's going to do is actually drop it on one of these 3 air defenses. Only one, all 3 at once, and we'll get into that in a second, but really I stopped this just to highlight these 4 builders huts on each corner. And these are placed out here on purpose. This is an old school tactic that's probably been around for probably 2 years now or more, and it's really to cause time issues when it comes to using dragons in the event that you don't zoom all the way out and see these structures and eliminate them in the process. This is another one of those ring type bases where all the you got the jump structures on the outside of the base to cause your dragons to go around. So what Mark does to combat this is he brings his 3 lightning spells, and he picks one of the 3 air defenses and drops all 3 immediately. There's no hesitation needed. All 3, just drop them and get rid of that air defense. And then he drops 2 individual dragons in the west and southeast in order to eliminate 2 of those builders' huts, and then they start working on the funnel in the south and the north of the base. And then as those 2 dragons start to move on to the outer ring of the base, then he starts trickling in his other dragons, but he's still holding on to a couple just in case. So he starts dropping a couple more because he knows that there's probably a dragon in that clan castle to get a large bulk of dragons there to take care of that. And also while that air defense is working on him, since he doesn't have any spells left, no rage spells, it's all been used on those 3 lightning spells. But you notice he's actually holding on to his clan castle until the dragons start to get closer or deeper into this base. And also, really, if you pay attention in the north, that Barbarian King at level 4 has no significant value other than maybe cleaning up one of those builders' huts over in the corners. But as you see here, he's already dropped his clan castle, and they go directly towards those last 3 remaining defenses in the northern portion of the base, which one of them just happens to be one of the air defenses, which he takes out right there. And that's basically all that's left over for those dragons, minus a couple of those air bombs. But once those are all eliminated, if you notice, he's got probably 7, 8 dragons still on the map, and these are all level 2 dragons, mind you, but you can still do this with level 1s. And at this point of the raid, all he has left is the 2 builders' huts in the north, and he has plenty of time left over in order to take care of these. But I'm going to go ahead and speed it up real quick. And the intent here is because the dragons just move entirely too slow, so you take a chance of one of those 99% raids down here. Last and final raid, and this is going to be that example that I offered you on the rage spells. So as you see here, Miss Effie here, she knows how to work these dragons in. and she's pretty patient with it, even though it looks like she's got all of them on the map. But it's just the layout of this base, really poor layout. And you see how she drops a rage spell and then starts bringing those balloons in from the south. And if you remember, they target defensive structures. So as you see there, they hit that rage and they speed right up in there and start working on the cannon over there. But then as you notice that she dropped another rage spell and it just shot them directly in on that last air defense up there in the north, which could have actually caused problems for those dragons that were moving in really slow, getting tied up on other structures as they moved into the base. And those balloons are really the key to these raids, because the dragons are just so clumsy and they just go after and attack anything that they'll get tied up on a high HP structure like a gold storage or a elixir storage or even the town hall, for instance. And what's happening is those balloons in the clan castle, they're just strong enough to shoot directly into the base and take over while the dragons are tied up. One last note is that this is an extremely expensive elixir army. However, it will get you 3 stars on every Town Hall 7 as long as you show the patience and the techniques showed in this video today on highlighting how to funnel those troops into the base. There's really not a lot of substitutions you can bring in on this strategy in order to make it work for you. All you need is dragons and some balloons in your clan castle and one of the 2 spell compositions, and you'll be successful every time. I hope that I didn't insult anybody's intelligence in this video, and I hope you were able to pull something out of it. Hey guys, Joe here, and if you made it to this part of the video, thank you. The intent of this channel is to actually slow things down for the viewer, and I'm going to provide overlays and graphics in order to show you what I'm talking about. If you find value in my material, please pass it along to others. I only solely do this for the passion of the game and the family aspect, and as always, you take care.